Hello, everybody. Goso Scope, Periscope, Coffee Scope of the day. Buenos dias. Good morning, Goso Nation family. I am so excited to be here with you on this cloudy morning here in Long Beach, California, where I am Goso Scoping from. It's been a weird morning. We had like a freeway right outside of our door. There was an accident on the street right next to us. So all the traffic, the 8 a.m., 7:30 a.m. traffic going to work was going right in front of our house. So it was quite the experience for our children and Daisy the dog, who is taking a nap in the back, but don't worry about her. Well, I also have a change of pace today. You know how normally I drink my coffee and I have coffee time here with you? Well, I have my coffee here with me, right here. I have it, but I have a confession to make. Maybe you can relate. I had way too much caffeine, chocolate. So I can't have any more caffeine or sugar products or anything dealing with caffeine or chocolate, because I am still getting over the chocolate coma that I went through this weekend with Halloween and 3 children, although ours are teenagers, but all the neighborhood children and all of that goes with that. So I do have my coffee, but I am not going to drink it. So you're gonna have to get your own tea, your own water, and that's exactly what I've been having. Tons of water. 7 traditions that will bring joy and less anxiety to your home life. That's what I want to talk to you about. 7 habits that are proven and tested by our family of 5 that have brought us, and therefore can be an example to you, have brought us more joy, less fear, less conflict, more adventure, more connection as a family in our home. So whether you are a single person thinking of what you want your family to be like, or whether you are in a family structure, whether it's with your parents, with roommates, or with your own family, children, etc., husband, wife, I hope that these 7 tips or these 7 traditions, really they're traditions or habits, will bring less anxiety and more joy into your life. My name is David Trigg. I am a joy and anxiety mentor. I am an entrepreneur, a pastor, and someone who has been dealt with anxiety since I was in my mid-20s due to separation from my parents and war in my native Nicaragua. But through 10,000 hours of therapy, over $10,000 of investing into some of the best therapists that money can buy, and the grace of God and the love of my wife and my mom, I have been able to find grace through anxiety. And so now I bring to you these Goso Scopes. Goso means joy in Spanish. And so I have a bilingual program that I do every day, and then also some others that are every week, to bring you joy in spite of fear, anxiety, and depression. So welcome. Nice to have you here on this beautiful cloudy day here in Long Beach, LA area. Wherever you may be, nice to have you. 7 habits that will bring more joy and less anxiety to your home life. These are proven and tested habits that we as a family have practiced for about 10 years, that have brought my wife and I of 20 years intimacy in our relationship, including sexual and conversation and all the fun things of marriage, have brought conversation to our family of 5, including 3 teenagers, and have brought organization, I would say, I'm not sure how else to put it, to just the mundane things of life, like doing laundry. So number one, before or without any more conversation here, the number one habit is something called family cleaning. And I'm going to describe each of these very briefly, okay? So family cleaning is something. Now, before I get into family cleaning, let me describe kind of how we came about. No, not how we came about these things. That's maybe another show. But more when and why we did these things. So family cleaning came about because it's a family of 5. The house gets dirty all the time. And we have 3 teenagers, and we were just not really into just hounding them regarding clean your room or doing it ourselves or getting upset or nagging or just having everyone do their own thing whenever they felt like it. One of the greatest principles that we have found is that doing things together is the key to joy, working as one. And so with that in mind, we started something again. The first one is family cleaning. What is that? Every Saturday, about 9 a.m., we do what we call family cleaning, which basically means that we do, all of us, our own room. We clean our own room. Then we also have like added duties. For me, I also do the floors. My wife also does the bathrooms. And some of those things we don't do every week. We do it maybe once a month or every couple of weeks. But for example, our son, who's now 12, he does his room. And the girls are upstairs in their bedroom. They do their room and bathroom. And we have taught them how to use gloves for the toilet and how to use certain liquids. And, you know, it's never perfect, but the point is that we do it at the same time. Now, our middle child, she loves music. She's a vocalist, an amazing singer. And so she puts music. And so all of us are enjoying some, I don't know, Adele's latest song or some Taylor Swift tune, whatever she's into at the time. And we're all kind of enjoying that vibe. And so at the end of that hour, normally it takes an hour, then I go and we do something called inspección in Spanish. It means inspection. So imagine kind of like one of those army movies where the sergeant or the drill sergeant comes and checks everybody's shoes and their beds and make sure everything's in prime condition. So that's kind of what I do, minus the drill sergeant part. And we then have the person who cleaned the room describe what they did. Because you know what happens? Everyone feels proud of what they did. Or they feel like, oh, you know, this part I didn't like, or I kind of didn't do this thing. But everyone gets really excited. And so what that person does is they describe what they did, how they clean the room. So for example, for me, I will tell them that I have a liquid that I use that's different and it's a little too shiny for the floors. So just to share something that kind of you're proud of or something that you learned. And then at the end of that little kind of a report that each person gives, then everyone applauds, gives an applause, and everyone then grades the person. This might be a little too cutthroat for some of you, but we all give B's or A's. That's all we can do. Only A's and B's. I'm laughing because I don't know if that works for every family. It inspired us. And I must say, most of the time we gave everybody A's or A++. And we always clapped after every report. And the reason why sometimes it's good to get that B, because, you know, sometimes, you know, we all slack a little bit, or I don't want to do the floors this time, or I'll just listen to the music instead of actually doing my work. That's why it's good for the community, meaning the rest of the family, to inspección, and to be, you know, to give you some instant feedback. Those floors, Papi, that's kind of a B today. Last week, I got an A+. So it kind of keeps a little bit of accountability. And then what we do after all of us do that is we all go and get yogurt to the local yogurt land. Or sometimes I would get little, when they were smaller, like little treats, maybe some Cheetos or some fruit or something healthy, something fun. And we would then pass them out at the end of the whole inspección. How do you like that? That's called family cleaning. And what that does, it brings a high level of joy, of fun, of accountability. It actually gets done. I can tell you we've done this for 10 years or so, maybe a little less, you know. And we have seen it, let me put it this way. We have seen it help, and when we don't do it, we have seen it kind of like, we've seen our family go backwards to arguing and, oh, you never do this, or the typical family. So great. Okay, number 2. I don't know if I'm going to get through all these 7 ones because all these are so beautiful. So let me just go through 3, okay? And then maybe tomorrow I will go through the other 4. Let's do that. Number 2 is Family Fun Fridays. Family Fun Fridays. The short of it is every Friday. Now we do it maybe once a month, twice a month. But when we started this, when the children were small, the reason we did this was because we were not spending enough time together, coming together. And even before that, we, when they were like really young and iPhones first came out, or back then I guess it was iPods or whatever, we obviously, like every parent, were noticing that they were spending a lot of time on their devices. So we had 2 days, Tuesdays and Fridays, when they got to do their devices. And so you can imagine at first that was hard for them. Now we've changed the rules a bit. We still have things in place. But when they were younger, like maybe 5, 7, and 9, or 6, 8, and 10, now they're 12, 14, and 16, by the way. On Friday nights, it was like the night to finally watch a movie together, have some sort of like favorite popcorn, or we don't do soda or anything like that, but some sort of like fun, I don't know, drink, whatever, Rochelle would make, my wife Rochelle, certainly popcorn, and watch a movie. So that was like the reward for the whole week for being off the devices and for basically, being disciplined. And now the reward was Family Fun Friday. So the way it looked is we would watch TV. Normally I would be on the couch. My wife would be on the other couch. Some of us are passed out because we've been working all week. And the children would be on bean bags on the floor. No devices, so we were all watching a movie. Hook, or I don't know, something that they chose. And sometimes, they got into arguments over it, of course. Sometimes I remember probably the funnest times before on-demand stuff came online was we would go to Redbox. And that was just fun because I'd pick them up after school, 3:30, when they were all in the same school. And we would go to Redbox and pick up a favorite movie. And it was just fun, to be in line and have them press the screen and see the little red box come out. It was just a fun experience. So I especially remember that. And what it did is it made technology or TV watching a treat, something special. Second, it brought us together. We were actually watching the same thing together. Do you know how foreign that is now? How strange it is now for families to watch the same show together? And we're struggling with that now, so we're adapting the Family Fun Friday habit or tradition. So that's number 2. And then the last one for today, because these are just too many. I have 7, but I'm going to go through 3. Is something that I mentioned called Super Tuesday. So I remember during the elections years ago, they talk about Super Tuesdays, right, as a day to vote, kind of a big deal. So we came up with the idea of Super Tuesday as a day to enjoy our devices. So again, when they were younger and when they first got their iPhones or whatever it was at the time, as I said, obviously you want to be on it all day long. Maybe it was a PlayStation for our son or an Xbox, whatever, right? And so instead of having it just be a non-stop battle or a non-stop no or yes, or we had days, as I mentioned, and Tuesday was Super Tuesday. That meant that when they get up, they could use their devices at the table. Now remember, that's the only day that they got to do it, as well as on Saturdays and Friday nights. So it was a special thing. Nowadays it's like families do this all day nonstop from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. all day, 24/7. So what a treat. On Tuesdays they got to eat with their devices and, as they got older, go to school, obviously, with their phones, and then come home and after homework, etc., be on their devices, till, 9 p.m. or something like that. It was a special day where they got to just kind of like binge watch whatever they're into at the time. To not be so strict, because you might be thinking, wow, what a strict family. We really have learned the value of doing things together. And what that does, Super Tuesdays, or family cleaning, or family fun Fridays, it has made the I don't like rules a little less rule-centered and more family-oriented, more communal, more of something we did juntos, as we call it, together. All of those things have brought, if I was to bring our children here on front of the screen and my wife, we would all say that we miss those traditions when we don't do them, because sometimes we don't do them for many reasons. But we've been consistent for the most part, and I would say again, they would all say that they love those traditions. Super Tuesday, now that they're older, they have, I guarantee it, fond memories of all of those things. And now we've replaced them with, as I said, other traditions, other habits. And but all of them have not only increased our level of joy and togetherness, but it's decreased our level of conflict and anxiety and anger and yelling and all the things that family go through. And we've been through those times, so we're not trying to say, hey, no problems here. But what it's done is it's de-escalated potential crises. And we have them. And when we have them, we have that almost like that practice of sitting together watching TV, or of cleaning the house together and working as one, seeing our daughter with a mop, or seeing me with some sort of window cleaner. When you see your family working together, cleaning, sacrificing together, having fun together, it kind of imprints in your mind the fact that I belong to this family, that I'm not alone, that if I'm dealing with something at school, or for us as my wife and I, if we're not seeing eye to eye in something, if I've seen my wife, out there clipping trees, and she's seen me scrubbing toilets, dealing with finances or whatever is a little less difficult. You know what I mean? So it has brought all of those potential conflicts way down, because it's paved the way for conversation, for unity. And that really is what my heart is for you, is to model a family of grace and tips and habits that will help you have greater joy. Maybe, as I said, you're a single person. You're like, I live alone. I have a few friends that come over on Tuesdays and Fridays, but these can be examples maybe of the things that you long for, that you think are so old school or just out of reach. Hopefully you can see a real family of 5 with just normal things, living a life of joy. Maybe you are a single person, a single parent, and it's just you and your 2 children. And maybe your mom comes over to help, maybe your tias or your primos or your cousins, they help out once in a while, but for the most part it's you and them, and you struggle. You feel like, this is just too much. I can barely go to work and come home and just make something for them to eat, and then I'm just exhausted on the couch just watching Netflix all night. That's just reality, right? Especially if you're working 2 and 3 jobs. Hopefully these can be practical tools that you can implement, talk to your family about. Maybe you are a family of 5, like in our case, or 6 or 7 or 3 or whatever it may be, a mom and dad and 2 children and a dog. I know there's not a lot of that out there anymore, but if you are, hopefully this can be an encouragement to not give up, to reinvent your own habits that I'm sure you have, your own traditions, and to relive or to revive that passion for unity. Even though your children might be now in college, or maybe, as I said, like with us, they're teenagers and it's harder to have them all be in the nest, and you've had to let go of that. Maybe we can be an encouragement of how to do that now as they get older. So thanks so much. My name is David Trigg, Gozo Nation, Gozo Scope. I hope that you have been able to learn some tips on the habits that we are developing and have developed for now a few years, and that we can be, I can be an example to you of grace, of crisis, or grace in crisis, amidst crisis, of adventure, and of love. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at David Trigg LA, on Instagram at David Trigg, and you can read my blog at davidtrigg.com. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next time.